What is up, guys? Welcome back to another Meta Monday for MLB The Show 24, and we got a lot of new meta cards over the last couple of weeks, and this last weekend's drop was absolutely insane. It seems like the power creep has definitely ramped up in the last couple of weeks. So with today's episode, what we're going to go over is the new captains that we got in the show shop. You can buy them, you don't have to exchange any of them like that. Some of them are really good, some of them stack, and honestly I think this is going to change quite a few metas that we're going to see in ranked seasons. And today I'm going to talk about each and every captain and whether or not I think it's going to be worth running that captain. As always, do what you want with your team. These are just my opinions if you want to compete at the highest level. All right, so getting started, we are going to look at this David Ortiz captain boost. He is a 2000s hitters captain. And let's first and foremost, this David Ortiz is legitimately one of the best first basemen in the game on his own right. 114.96, 110 power versus right, 75 power versus left isn't the best, but it's fine. And then max clutch is awesome. This card's going to be really good on higher difficulties with that max clutch and that really good contact versus right. Here, what his boost do? Cards from 2000 to 2009 will be pushing towards this boost, and it has to be the actual card date. It can't be a player that played in that. 15 contact right, 15 power right, 15 batting clutch, 15 contact left. That is an insane amount of boosts for just 11 hitters. Keep in mind, I do not have the best cards possible for this team. I just have a couple of them and some of the cards that I like, but this is what my team is looking like. I know my camera's in the way. There's not really a good spot for me to put it. Ryan Braun, Richard Rulia, the BR Chipper Jones, Rafael Palmeiro, Mike Napoli, Alfonso Soriano, and then obviously Big Papi himself. On my bench, I have Vlad Sr., Joe Mauer, Jorge Posada, Ryan Howard. And I mean, just take a look at some of these stats. I mean, Ryan Braun's going to be max contact versus both sides. Chipper Jones, 117, 125, and that's an 87 overall card. Richard Rulia, 118, 112 contacts. Even a card like Alfonso gets over 100 on both. Obviously, Papi winds up maxed out completely versus righties. And a card like Napoli, who was already really good, gets 100 contact at P1 for both sides, and obviously his amazing power. Now, my biggest issue with this team currently, as it stands right now, is that I personally don't love a lot of these swings. I'm not the biggest Braun fan. Soriano's always been hit or miss for me. Napoli being the push hitter is kind of tough. I do love Chipper, I do love Papi, I do love Palmeiro. And then these cards are all really good too. Jorge, Ryan Howard, Vlad Sr., they're all really good. They just don't have great iterations yet. And if you guys decide you want to go on Show Zone, you can find out the best possible cards you can get on a team like this. Obviously, I don't have them all, so I have Show Zone pulled up just to tell you. Cards like Jimmy Rollins, 99 works. You have the Chase Utley Hyper Series, the Michael Young headliner from earlier in the year. The World Series reward, Mike Cameron is really good for this team, and honestly, that would be a fantastic outfield option. He would get really good. And I want to let this be known as well. We are going to get wild cards in the future, and there's a decent chance that season 2 we're going to see a lot more legend players than we have this season. This season's been mostly pipeline players, a lot of tops now, and current players and current iterations. I think next season, using Papi as a wild card is not one of the dumbest things I've ever heard, because if we do get a lot of really good legends in this next season that fit this boost, this might be really, really good, especially if a lot of those cards are 95 pluses. I mean, as you can tell, there's only 2 cards on this team that are 95 plus, and this team is still really, really good. So I'm rambling a bit, but if we're taking a look at this Big Papi boost as a captain, I think this is a really, really good one. And if you have, again, cards like Mike Cameron and Jimmy Rollins, this is probably one of the better boosts that you can get if you want to have a little bit of fun, or honestly even just compete at a higher level, because it makes every single one of these cards usable on Hall of Fame and even kind of usable as you get towards Legend. All right, the next captain boost we're going to talk about is this 95 Clayton Kershaw captain boost. This is for lefty captains. This card counts for any card that hits or throws left-handed. It just has to be one or the other, and it does not have to be a lefty hitter. If they're a batter, they could be a lefty thrower and a righty hitter, or a righty thrower and a lefty hitter. Doesn't matter which one, as long as they have one of them, and switch hitting does not count, sadly. You need 22 for them. And at tier 3, you get 15 hit per 9, 15 contact right, 15 power right, and 15 batting clutch. A really, really good boost for a card that is a pitcher and is giving predominantly good hitting stats. To me, and we'll talk more about it as I go into it, this is one of the absolute best captains in the game, if not the best. Personally, I think it's the best, because most of your guys' lineups are going to have quite a bit of lefties anyway. We are in a left-handed pitching meta currently, especially if you have Randy. Kershaw obviously counts. There's a bunch of cards that I'll show you in a second here, but you don't even need the tier 3 boost to make this super effective. 18 lefty hitters will make this guy really good anyway, and obviously help out all the teams. So let's look at a team that I have as an example. So right now I have Noah Schultz, Al Leiter, Shohei Ohtani, because Shohei Ohtani is a left-handed batter, so he counts. Kershaw and Randy Johnson. A couple of other righties that count as well. For starting pitching are going to be Zach Wheeler, the new 90, I think 7, Jacob deGrom will count as well. If Grayson Rodriguez ever gets a better card, he'll count. And there's a Topps now, Tyler Glass now. So there's a couple of right-handed pitchers you can use as starting options. And then in the bullpen, you're going to run mostly lefties. That is unfortunate. However, Rob Dibble does count as a lefty, so he is a pretty much must-have as a righty arm in this. And then there's a couple of silvers that you can use. I think Kevin Ginkel is one of the better ones. He has a hard fastball and a sinker. However, there aren't really a lot of options. However, you can look through. David Bednar is there. He's not great. Brock Stewart's not a bad option, though, honestly, and that's probably who you should be using. So let's throw Brock Stewart in there. He gets 102 hit per 9, and you can't see it because my face is over it. Sinker cutter, but he counts. All of these pitchers are on the currently tier 3 boost, so they'll get 15 hits per 9 boosted. So Shohei Ohtani at parallel 4, like I have him, has 120 hit per 9 on his live series card. Insane. Going to the actual team, you are able to get away with not having 3 starters that are switch hitting or right-handed, and then I have 1 on my bench as well. So no, this isn't ideal to only have 3 right-handed hitters in this lineup, especially here at the bottom. You're going to go lefty, lefty, lefty. So if you're facing a left-handed pitcher, it's definitely tough. And just look at some of these hitters. I mean, obviously Babe Ruth doesn't improve. He's maxed out, but Kyle Seager, 117, 108. Corey Seager, 119, 123. Eddie Matthews, 107, 111. Palmeiro, 101, 122. Bellinger gets over 116 power. I mean, these cards get really, really good offensively and just destroy righties. So again, the Kershaw boost, you're pretty much having a meta pitching staff outside of only having a handful of righties. And then the bats aren't too bad. And if you can figure out how to hit lefty-lefty, it's really not bad at all. I think this card is really, really good, and to me, probably the best boost in the game because you don't even have to change too much just to get the tier 2 boost. The next captain we're going to look at is this 95 Carlos Santana. He's a switch hitting captain. We've been asking for this captain all of last year. We get him just season 1 into this year, and this card, first of all, is insane on his own. Fantastic versus lefties, even really good versus righties. 110 clutch is insane. Switch hitter, catcher primary, where he's usually a secondary, so that's really nice. He doesn't take the hit, and he can play first base as well. It's Carlos Santana. He's always really good. And if you take a look at his tier boost at tier 3, 12 contact left, 10 batting clutch, and 10 BB9. The BB9 is important because there are a handful of pitchers that get this boost as well. Let's take a look at a team that I have built. I have a full switch hitting team because why not? It sounds fun. There's quite a bit of cards you can use that are really good too. Pretty much every card on this team ends up with 105 contact versus both sides if you have the meta way of doing it. Just insane stuff. You're going to have a full switch hitting team. You'll never be at disadvantage on handedness when you're playing another pitcher. And most of these guys have really, really good swings. I mean, as you can tell, I have 1 parallel 3 or 5, 1 P4, 2 P3. These guys are really, really nice. This is an amazing theme team. And no, the boost isn't as good as some of the other ones that are giving you, plus 15, plus 20s in certain stats. But the fact that you're getting both sides and they're switch hitters, plus you're getting clutch. Clutch is such a big deal that I really think this is probably the best boost, especially for the cards. It helps all of their weakness. And if you wanted to get real freaky and get some relievers in here because you wanted some lefty hitters or you wanted to keep, say, Babe Ruth in your lineup, Kenley Jansen works for this boost as well. There are a couple other pitchers, the high diamond Adam Ottavino, or if you don't, you can use this one. There's some starters too. We don't have a Vita Blue yet. He'll count. Robin Roberts, Lance Lynn, and Leon Richardson, who I don't know who that is, but shout out. It'll be a good time to use, and honestly, these cards are amazing. And just wait until we get better switch hitters like you know, Adley Rutschman's, Jose Ramirez, better Chipper Jones. This guy's gonna be really, really good. Another captain we have, 95 Mark Pryor. I feel like this video is getting long, and I'm sorry about that, but it's just the way it is sometimes. 95 standout series captain Mark Pryor. Mark Pryor is always a glitchy pitcher, but his pitchers are just not good enough to actually be useful. His boosts, however, are very good. 20 K per 9, 15 hits per 9, 20 power versus right, 20 batting clutch. Those are insane boosts to pretty much all that get boosted from it. However, currently, Standout Series does not have the best of cards. I have just enough to make the team. You need 9, right? 9 for the tier 3. Currently, that's about what I have. So, Justin Verlander gets up to 107, 104. Roy Oswalt, 101, 106, which those pitchers are okay. They're nothing super, super crazy. You'll probably want to use some of these other guys. Kenley Jansen also works on this boost as well. For hitters, you have guys like Billy Williams, this 92 that's in the XP reward path. He winds up with max clutch 103, 120 power. Pretty solid stuff. Alex Gordon gets really good. His clutch gets up to 122, which is unbelievable. Same stuff with Palmeiro, 113 clutch, 125 power. Paul Konerko gets really, really good as well. And then you look at somebody like Mike Napoli, who doesn't really get a whole lot better from this boost, just the clutch goes up. I think this is okay. I think it has potential to be really good if we ever get some awesome standout cards. However, as it stands, it's not quite the best. You could put like a Michael Young on this team. Jim Tomei, Ken Griffey Sr. Not the best cards in the world, but it's kind of a fun team. If you really like a lot of these guys too, you can make it work. So personally, I wouldn't recommend it, but it exists. Next up, we have Trevor Hoffman. Trevor Hoffman boost is definitely one of the boosts of all time. I will show you his pitching stats real quick. I mean, it's a pretty typical Trevor Hoffman. Circle change, primary, cutter, slider, fastball, and a curveball. Nothing super crazy there. His captain boost, he had a captain last year. That one was really good. It impacted relief pitchers only. This one is pitchers that have 45 saves in a season. You get 15 hits per 9, 15 Ks per 9, 10 pitching clutch, and 10 BB9. The stats that get boosted, unbelievably good. However, the problem with Trevor is 45 saves is quite a bit. And when you take a look at this team, you kind of start to understand why this is a problem. You have Hoffman. Obviously, he's going to be really good. He winds up with maxed out hit in K per 9 and clutch. Unbelievable. Kenley Jansen, pretty much the same. Max clutch, max hit. Then you look at some of these other cards. You have Mark Melancon. He had 45 saves in the season. Edwin Diaz, he has a better card you can get as well. Mariano doesn't have anything better than a gold, but honestly, this gold is pretty good with this boost. Joe Nathan, not bad with the boost either. Craig Kimbrell, I know he has a diamond. I don't remember where you get it. I don't have it for whatever reason, but here's Craig Kimbrell. And Lee Smith. So these are the guys, and if you guys have noticed, one glaring issue is that there is not a single lefty. This boost would have been really, really good if they let the limit be 40 saves in a season instead of 45. That way, at 40, you would have had a bunch of guys added to the list, like Aroldis Chapman, Billy Wagner, John Franco would have all been added to this list, and those are fantastic lefties every single year. So yes, the stats you get are really good. However, you know, a lot of these cards are golds, and their pitch mixes aren't the best, or they aren't just the best in general. You do have a starting pitcher, which I guess is cool, and there's probably be another one, I guess, if Eckersley had a starting pitcher. And I mean, even at the tier 3 boost, this John Smoltz still sucks because, boy, was this card terrible when he came out. It still is. The only other cards that you could really get would be an Eckersley. He does have a reliever card. There's a Rob Nen as well. He has Outlier, so if that helps you at all, maybe you could get real freaky with that. However, the lack of lefties in a bullpen makes this boost really not usable at all, and the lack of really, really high-end righty arms to kind of overcome the lack of lefties is just not there. So I don't think this boost for Trevor is usable at its current state. It might get better later in the year, but 45 saves is really the issue with it. If they had to change any captain, this would be the one I hope they lowered just to make it 40 saves. It would actually become really, really good. As it stands now, it's not. And the last captain is Asian-born captain Seiya Suzuki. This card on its own, again, pretty solid. 97, 116, 94, 68 power versus lift with 105 clutch is very good. Decent fielder, great arm, plays all the outfield for the Cubs. This card's pretty solid. Has a handful of quirks as well. I don't have him, so I can't actually show you guys the team because nobody is selling him to me currently. So I will keep this screen up and read to you the cards that work for this boost. It's not great right now. I'll tell you what though, if this card was in the game last year when we had the WBC cards, this would have probably been the meta captain for quite a long time. It's not the case right now. That's okay. 7 players, Asian born, gets you 20 power, 20 contact, both versus right, 20 BB9, and 15 hits per 9. That is honestly unbelievably like so strong. Just the pitchers are great for it currently. The hitters, not so much. On the pitching side, again, listen to me because I can't show you. Shohei Ohtani, Shota Imanaga, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Kodai Senga, and Yu Darvish would be the best. Then you could obviously go all their live series versions. There is a Kenta Maeda we just got that'll go into the bullpen. So bullpen got Kenta Maeda, Yuki Matsui, and Kenley Jansen counts for this. So looking at the position players, there are no catchers that make this team. So throw your favorite catcher back there. And again, you don't need to fill this team fully with Asian-born players because you have so many options at pitchers that you don't necessarily need all that many hitters. You can kind of just go God Squad and boost up the pitching with this. So Ha-Sung Kim for the infield. Tommy Edman could also be in there. There's a gold Jonathan Scope. That card is actually going to be very good on this boost, despite it being a gold. And only an 82, he'll be a fantastic hitter. You're going to want Ohtani at DH so that you can have him pitch and still hit. He'll be fantastic. Jung-Ho Lee, obviously Seiya will be in the outfield. And then you'll probably want to put one of your God Squad outfielders out there as well. Otherwise, you could go with a guy like Lars Nootbaar or Masataka Yoshida. I know it sucks that I can't show you guys their boosted stats right now, but again, nobody will sell me this card, and I do not have the stubs to buy him outright, so it is what it is. I want to get this video out already. So, Seiya Suzuki. Is this card good? Yes. Is the boost good? Honestly, yes. I think this boost is very good. I think he as a card is very good. I mean, just look at himself. 20 power, 20 contact. He's going to wind up with over 117 and 114 power and contact versus right at his max boost. That's really, really good. The only flaw with him, personally, is the contact versus or the power versus left. It is what it is. I think this card's awesome. It's a really fun, unique one. Again, last year he would have been better. Think about all the cards we could have had under this boost that can stick that Kondo catcher, third baseman, lefty. We could have had Murakami, Roki Sasaki would have been great on this team. And there's a handful of others. We had like a 99 or 97 Lars Nootbaar that would have been great. We had a 97 Tommy Edman. So this card would have been elite last year and probably meta. He's just pretty good this year. No, this is a long video already, but I did want to show something really quirky that I have going currently. This is a God Squad that I may or may not be rocking in ranked as I make a World Series push. I have the Carlos Santana boost currently active at tier 3, but I also have the Clayton Kershaw boost active at tier 2. And it's really weird how you have to finagle this. I saw somebody tweet about it. I don't remember who it was, but shout out to you. Pretty much you have to have 3 lefties in your field. Could be any 3. I have Corey Seager, Babe Ruth, and Cody Bellinger. The rest of your team needs to be switch hitters. Your entire bench has to be essentially unusable cards. Specifically, Robbie Grossman, Armand Upshaw, Michael Toglia, and Dylan Carlson. Why? Because they count for both boosts. They are switch hitters that throw lefty, every single one of them. So they count for both boosts. Your rotation can be normal, pretty much just your normal Kershaw boost. You can throw Shohei, you can throw DeGrom, you can throw Wheeler, any lefties you want, whatever you're feeling. The bullpen gets a little bit strange too. You must have Kenley Jansen. You must have Adam Ottavino. And the weird one is you must have this Francisco Perez. He's the only reliever in the game that's a switch hitter and a lefty thrower. Yes, his per-9s are terrible. You're not going to use him at all, I promise. He's just there to fulfill both boosts. He's essential for the success of this team. You're going to have, obviously, all your lefties. You'll have 4 of them. If you have the good Ottavino, then you'll have Kenley, Ottavino, and then Rob Dibble. So you'll have 3 good righties, four good lefties. The rotation should be great. The bullpen should be pretty good outside of Francisco. And you have a team full of switch hitters outside of 3. And these 3 hitters are insane. Babe Ruth's maxed out. Look at Corey Seager, 114, 118, 120 clutch. And Cody Bellinger is really good as well. Obviously, you could put anybody. I think I'd wind up putting Larry Walker once I get him, but that's not for a little bit. Again, tier 3 switch hitting stats, so these cards are all insane, as I talked about earlier. And this, to me, is the best current possible rendition of a double captain team. And the fact that captains boost each other hitting and pitching this year makes stuff like this possible and really, really fun. So I'm going to run this team a little bit. You can also do a similar thing with the big poppy boost. I just don't care for that one as much because I think this one's way more fun. And that's going to do it, guys. It was a lot of information. I understand that. But thank you guys for watching all the way through. Make sure you like and subscribe if you like the content. And stay tuned for next week for another Meta Monday. So thank you guys again. I appreciate you. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.